Well, I started playing music at quite a young age. My mom was a music teacher, so there was music playing in our house all the time. And I started playing violin and piano and singing too, all three when I was about 4 years old. And from there, it just kind of developed. I continued with the Royal Conservatory of Music, and received my classical training. But my heart was always interested in playing my own internal melodies. I just had a real knack for getting on the piano and playing something interesting and not knowing where it was coming from, but wanting to follow it and see where it took me. I think one of the most powerful experiences I had as far as influencing me to get into the music industry was being a part of the Young Performers program at the Folk Festival. Up until then, I hadn't really considered it to be something that I could pursue and do for a living. That was almost too good to be true. I love Winnipeg. Winnipeg has such a unique music community. And I think, I've spoken to numerous other people about this exact topic, but I wonder if it's because of the cold winters. You tend to put these things together, but how many people don't want to go outside, and so they jam in their basements with their friends, and they just develop a love for music that maybe in other communities, like, there's just more segregation, more opportunities to create groups of people that have separate ideas and separate loves. And Winnipeg is just this conglomeration of so many different unique sounds, but everybody's so supportive. And it's not like that everywhere. And I'm learning that. I've found it out firsthand. I think there's a certain type of listener out there for me, certain type of person that's kind of, not a type of person, but a person at a place in their life where they're maybe relating to where I am. And all I really would want to say to anyone at that place is that it's hard and you're not alone. And there's ways of getting through it and living freely and happily, and that's kind of what I do. I'm pretty pumped about the album coming out. I think a lot has changed for me in the past 2 years, and I've learned a ton. And I made quite a few mistakes the first time around, but I just think this is an opportunity for me to, actually capture the sound I've always wanted to. And it's growing and changing. Even as we're recording, it's growing and changing, and that's just the nature of the craft. But after I finish it, I think I'm wanting to go on a similar Canadian tour, and this time it'll be a little more planned out. Not one day ahead calling a venue and saying, "Hey, we're coming through town." It'll be somewhat of a better adventure, I'm sure. I think for anyone who is in a similar situation to me, who's kind of finding a lot of success in life very young, I think it's important to remember that doesn't mean that you can't still make mistakes and that you're expected to know everything all the time, because that's a lot of pressure and it's very unrealistic. And for myself, I found that it's almost part of what's endearing about me at times, the fact that I can fall flat on my face in front of everyone and still pick myself up and still feel my worth as a person, and not, tragically end my career or back out of the scene, or, think that I'm not good enough to keep going, because it's not true. And I think it's somewhat similar to the way I feel when I watch a figure skater. When I'm on stage and I'm going for an intense part of a song, or I'm entering a difficult chord progression, and everyone is maybe listening with anticipation. Sometimes I succeed, and sometimes I hit that note with intensity and passion and accuracy, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm not in the element, or I don't quite get there, and it doesn't mean that I can't try again. It doesn't mean that people don't still feel me and are affected by me. And it's like watching a figure skater go up for a triple axel. Sometimes they make it and everyone claps and feels the satisfaction of that, and sometimes they fall, and it doesn't take away from their essence as as a skater, and it doesn't take away from my essence as an artist. I just keep doing it, and people appreciate that. That's what I'd say.